Hello everyone and welcome to this video of ZAHNER. This is Thales. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the Thales software. In my last video, I showed you how you can install the Thales software. If you haven't checked out that video, you can find the link in the description below. Before we start up the Thales software, you need to connect your Sanium series potentiostat, or if you're working with an older version of the ZAHNER potentiostat, for example an IM6 potentiostat, you need that connected with your computer. So connect the power cable to the potentiostat and a USB cable which is connecting the potentiostat to your computer where you install the Thales software, and then power up the potentiostat, and now you can start your Thales software. So the Thales software will not turn on if you are not connecting it with the potentiostat. So for using the Thales software, the potentiostat have to be connected and have to be turned on. Now with this, let's go to computer and see how you can start up the Thales software. To start up the Thales software, double click on Thales USB icon. As the Thales software starts up, the first notification you will see is the warm-up of the potentiostat. When you are working in your lab, we advise you to wait up 30 minutes of the warm-up so that you can use the potentiostat in the optimum condition. For today, we will just start with the Thales software, and what you see in front of you is the Thales classic mode. It could be that you are looking at the gray window, and that gray window is our Thales XT mode, and that you can look at if you go to the Z and switch to XT mode. Here is the Thales XT mode. In a future video, I will talk about each and every function of the Thales XT mode, but today we want to go back to Thales classic mode. So now we are back in the Thales classic mode, and you can see here that we have different kind of icons, and each icon represent their own kind of measurement. So you have impedance spectroscopy, and here you can do electrochemical impedance spectroscopy, and then you have IECV icon where you can do current voltage measurements or cyclic voltammetry measurement. And then on the third we have CE icon. These are capacitance potential measurements. So if you are doing single frequency impedance measurement, you can calculate capacitance from it. So you can do something like mode Schottky curve, you can do noise measurements, and then you can also do is in the second line you have the time domain measurement. So you can apply some voltage with time and you can look how the current is behaving, or you can apply current and look at the voltage. So any measurement with respect to time can be done here, like square wave voltammetry, and then you have signal acquisition. So we in ZAHNER, we offer different kind of extension possibilities. We offer different kind of cards, and these cards provide you analog and digital input and output channels, and these channels are then controlled in signal acquisition. Other than that, we have many different kind of icons, and in future I will talk about them. Today let's focus on impedance spectroscopy. If you click on impedance spectroscopy icon, you get to the second window, and in this window you see the parameter regarding the impedance spectroscopy. So you have your frequency range, you can apply a frequency, you can choose your step per decades, how many measurements you want to do in one decade. A very nice feature of Thales is that if you go to some variable and right click with your mouse, it opens up the manual of the Thales software at the correct position where you can read about that variable. Now let's try once again. I go to the step per decades, I right click, and now you can see again that I'm on the same page where the step per decades are explained. Okay, so this is the second part of the Thales software where the parameters are explained. So on the first level we have the main measurement techniques. If I go to CV and click on CV, I go to the second level where the parameter regarding cyclic voltammetry are explained. We have the first level of the measurement and second level of the parameters, and then each of them have a third level of control potentiostat. So when you click on the control potentiostat to come to the third level of the Thales software, and you can test your sample, as the name suggests, test sampling and potentiostat control. So what you can do, you have a sample and you don't know how high the currents will flow at some specific voltage. You can provide a voltage and you can look how high the currents are. So for example, here I can provide So I have high impedance sample connected to my potentiostat. I provide 1 volt, and I can look at the current, which are about 10 nanoamperes. And the asterisk here tells you the control parameter. So right now I'm applying 1 volt, so the asterisk is on the voltage. I can turn off my potentiostat and I can go to galvanostat. And once I do that, the voltage which you see on the left side will be changed to current. And as you see, I choose to galvanostat and the voltage changed to current, and now I can apply current. Here, since I have a high impedance sample, I can write 15 nanoampere. So N here then stands for nano. You can also write some value in 0. Let's say 000 and so on. But if you put N, that stands for nano. If you put U, that is micro, M for milli, and so on and so forth. So today I will give 15N, click OK, and turn on my potentiostat. And as I do that, the asterisk will now come on DC current. And as you can see, I can give 15 nanoampere current, and I'm looking at the voltage which I'm measuring. Okay, beside this, we have many other things which we will talk about in future videos. We have calibration and check cell connection schemes, which will also be discussed in the future video. So now what I want to show you are some additional methods which are available in the Thales mode. So you go to the optional methods in the drop down menu, and here you see some additional measurements. So if you're working remotely, let's say you're controlling your system via Python and C++, you can use our remote control application. If you are working with coating or laminates, you can do our coating and laminate test. If you are working with batteries, you can do cycling of the batteries with battery cycling. And then the very first option is photoelectrochemical test. And this option is used, and these are not one test but many tests, and these are used by the customers who have our SIM system or the SIM extension systems. So here you have then the additional measurements which are possible. Okay, so with this we came to the end of our video. In my next video, I will talk about the front panel of the potentiostat. We have few LEDs on the front panel. I will show you what these LEDs are trying to tell us and how you can properly start up the Thales software. So with this, thank you for your time and see you in the next video.